Hi everyone. Today, our group LNG group will share about case 5, which is Sea Express oil disaster. Before I start, please allow me to introduce our group member. Our group member include Wei Jie, me, Zann, and Nevasraj. Now, I will summarize the case of the 1996 Sea Express oil spill that happened in the UK. This accident happened at the Milford Haven port in Wales, where the Sea Express oil tanker ran aground while trying to enter the port, resulting in a massive spill of 72,000 tons of crude oil. Over 120 miles of coastline were polluted, causing serious environmental damage and the death of the thousands of birds. This case is still widely discussed today because it highlights major weakness in ship operation, safety management, and emergency response. Next, I will explain the safety management issue that related to these incidents. Firstly, the Sea Express case exposed failures in navigations and port management. The ship entered the port in unfavorable tidal conditions, which led to the grounding of the vessel. This showed that there were poor coordination and communication between the ship's crews and the port pilots, and there was no proper risk assessment for navigating in complex coastal waters. Secondly, there was a lack of adequate emergency towing support. Although tugboats were sent to exist after the incident, the tugs available at the time were not powerful enough to stabilize the oil tanker quickly, resulting in the further collision and several oil leaks. If a high-power emergency towing vessel (ETV) had been stationed nearby, the situation could have been controlled more effectively. Thirdly, both the shipping company and the port authority lacked a proper safety management system (SMS) before the accident. According to the International Safety Management ISM code, ship owners and crew are required to carry out regular safety drills and risk assessment. But this case shows that those safety measures were either not in place or not followed properly. Lastly, the port did not provide enough real-time monitoring and vessel traffic management support. Modern ports should use Vessel Traffic Service (VTS) to track ship movement and give early warnings, but at that time, this system was not fully developed. That's all from my part. Now I will pass it to the next presenter, Wei Jie.
Hey everyone, my name is Wei Jie. In this session, we will focus on how the Sea Empress disaster impact both human life and marine environment, and what we learn from it. So, let's begin with the human impact. Well, the good news is that it's not a fatality of the serious injury among the crew and the port worker. However, this case shows that a lack of the emergency preparedness, emergency response team was slow and reacted due to the communication breakdown and limited training. This raised concern about the safety of the seafarers, especially in the port handling hazardous cargo like oil. Next is the marine environment impact. The oil service pulled over 200 kilometers of coastline, including the protected marine habitats. It caused the death of around 10,000 of seabirds and have devastating effect on the fish nurseries, shellfish bed, and marine mammals. The local fishing and tourism industry suffer heavily, with a long-term consequence on biodiversity and the water quality. So, in this conclusion, this accident has highlighted the need of the better safety and preparedness, especially in port handling dangerous cargo like oil. Besides that, the local fishing and tourism industry also affected. It also has a long-term effect on biodiversity and water quality.
Hello, sir. My name is Muthuvellu, and I'll be talking about the actions taken and those that should have been taken to manage the risk from the MVC Empress oil disaster, especially in terms of environmental, financial, and human life risk. Let's start with the environmental risk. When the Sea Empress ran aground in 1996, over 72,000 tons of crude oil spilled into the sea. It devastated local sea ecosystems, seabirds, marine life, and more than 120 miles of coastline were contaminated. To manage such risk, we need two things: strong emergency response system and effective prevention. After the spill, thousands of volunteers clean up the mess, but that wasn't enough. What we really needed and still needed are well-funded emergency towing vessels and real-time coastal monitoring systems. Unfortunately, those services were later cut due to the budget concerns, which put us at the risk of repeating the same mistake. Now, on the financial side, the cleanup costs reach around 60 million euro pounds. That's a massive burden. But here's the thing, if proper safeguards had been in place, such as enforced tug support for large tankers and better risk assessment during bad weather, the cost could have been avoided. Managing financial risk means investing early in prevention, not paying heavily after disaster. And finally, human life risk. Luckily, the Sea Emperor disaster didn't take any life indirectly, but the potential was there. Oil spills bring toxic exposure, dangerous working conditions, and long-term health impacts for cleanup crews and nearby communities. We must ensure that those involved in rescue or containment operations are well-trained, well-equipped, and protected at all costs. To sum up, managing this risk isn't just about reacting to disasters. It's about being prepared, investing in safety, and putting environment and people above cost cutting. Because once the damage is done, it's done. It's often too late. Thank you. Now, I will pass it to the next presenter.
Now, I will share some future recommendations to avoid accidents like the Sea Empress this accident. The oil spill happened because of navigation mistake, bad weather, and lack of the proper control during port entry. Firstly, we can use the tugboat. It's one of the way to prevent this accident happen again. Tugboats should always be used when a big tanker enter or leave a port, especially in the narrow of dangerous area. It is because tugboats help guide the ship safely and avoid hitting rocks. Besides that, we can also implementing real-time monitor system is one of the ways. It is because install modern GPS and tracking system on ship and in port can provide a real-time information on tide, wave, and ship position to avoid accident. Furthermore, port authority has to stronger port regulation also. For example, ports should have a clear rules for the weather condition. If the weather is bad, they should stop the ship from entering until it's safe. Lastly, the ship crew and the port workers should practice emergency drills and training often. This include fire drills, oil spill response, and man overboard situation. Emergency training is very important to make sure that everyone on the ship and at the port knows what to do during an accident happen. So, in conclusion, it is vital that the maritime industry continues to adopt preventive measures and innovative technology to reduce accident risk. Continuous emergency training, investment in social maintenance, and strictly enforcement of the environmental standard are all essential to the protect both human life and the marine ecosystem. This is all of the future recommendation to avoid this accident. Thank you.
In conclusion, the MVC Empress disaster reminds us that prevention is always better than reaction. From environmental damage to financial loss and risk to human life, this case shows how critical proper safety management, emergency preparedness, and strict regulations are in maritime operations. By learning from past mistakes and inventing in better systems and training, we can protect our oceans, our economy, and the people who depend on them. Thank you.